from the lighter side of pest control. This is the Tales from the Crawl Space podcast with your hosts, Jack and Brad.
Good evening to all the cheese bags and all the ships at sea. It's Jack, Tales from the Crawl Space, and across the proverbial desk, I have Brad Harvey.
Well, hello there, Jack.
Hi there.
Hello there.
And this evening's show is going to be about Salesmen from Hell. And boy, I got some shit to say about that. I know you do too, Brad. But the brainchild behind this episode is Mr. Curtis Miles. So, Curtis Miles, you are going to get a sample of Tide in the mail along with an AOL disc, a Tales from the Crawl Space sticker, a patch, and a PCHD magnet sent to you.
And a 15-minute supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Great with everything.
That's right.
But Curtis Miles, thank you for the idea for this one.
Thanks
and believe
a lot,
me,
Curtis.
the stories are endless on this, but we're going to try to pare it down to 30 minutes. Now, I'm going to start out with this one, and I kind of ruffled a few feathers on the depot a couple weeks ago when I talked about that company that makes the stuff that they'll send it to you and you can do it yourself. The one that I've gotten banned from commenting on. And the reason for my disdain for Donnie and Marie in general is having been a branch manager for two separate Donnie and Marie pest control companies. It's multifold. The sales kids will make this ridiculous claim, and then the poor technicians who aren't Donnie and Marie related have to go try to make good on those promises, and that just pisses me off. The sales kids get paid so well for selling that you generally don't make any money on the service for the entire first year. Which I think is also ridiculous, and it's morally bankrupt. They asked the sales kids. There was one of the sales kids that was. We figured he had to go pee, so he was peeing around the side of the house while the bus was letting kids off from school. So there he is with his pecker in his hand. The kids come running around the corner, so he got arrested for indecent exposure charge. So these Donnie and Marie decided to send him to Canada and get him out of the state before the court date came around. That's just kind of morally bankrupt to me.
Ooh,
yeah. So now those sales bastards, which I referred to them last season, they get this crash course in pest control. Crash course being very generous for what they actually get, and they go around and verbally assault entire neighborhoods at once and make these. Mrs. Robinson next door on one side and Mr. Smith on the other side both have cockroaches, and when we treat there, they're going to come to your house and make claims like that. So first of all, you're just completely blowing the privacy of your neighbors out of the water. Most of it's a lie anyways. And then they make these ridiculous, once we treat, you'll never see an ant again. You'll never see one again. Oh, and we can do something about the birds that fly around your house. I've not yet seen them put a hermetically sealed dome around someone's property to prevent the birds, but they do that shit. So it's just, but yeah, Donnie and Marie's salespeople. I mean, there's actually Facebook pages out there about Donnie and Marie companies and their salespeople and the persistence and pushiness, short of almost just this side of bullying to sell pest control. And it makes me sick. So that's where my vitriol comes from.
I got you, Jack. And there's certain things that I really admire about. One of them is their zeal, and their ability, their door-to-door techniques are top notch. It's once that door opens is when I got a problem with it. It's like it's great that you canvass neighborhoods. I mean, that's how you drum up business. But for crying out loud, once that door opens, man, you got to tell the truth. I mean, there's nothing wrong with door-to-door sales until it violates the 13th article of faith in the Book of Mormon, which says we believe in being honest. So, yeah, exactly. So, be honest. I mean, pest control sells itself, especially this time of year. You guys aren't, they're not out there knocking on doors in December because they know nobody's going to buy. The stuff sells itself. And if you can give a good deal and get a good reputation, you don't have to hire these college kids every year and go knocking on doors all the time. Word of mouth and experience will get, I want to re-up on this. My beloved company that I work for, we don't do door to door. We go strictly by reputation, word of mouth, and also results. So, that's the big issue that we have with any type of sales. It's like, you guys, you folks in sales, God love you. You're paid to make promises. Now on the service end, somebody else has to keep that promise. So you want to make sure that you're making promises that we can actually keep, so we can keep the customer, because nothing gets a bottom line, a bigger heart on than repeat customers. They're the ones that the money is there the minute you put your key in the door every morning.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, I worked for one company that decided to add a lawn care service onto the pest control, and hired a whole bunch of guys to do lawn stuff. And the thing was, they guaranteed aerating yards, everybody's yard every year, instead of making an add-on service, which could have made a ton of money because not everybody needs to be aerated. But what they were doing is they'd take a soil sample. They'd sell the service, say you're going to have a green, lush lawn by the end of the season. And they'd take a soil sample, and I would have to run from Baltimore down to Richmond, Virginia to drop these soil samples off to this fly-by-night company that gave a really good deal on doing the soil samples. And then come back with a report, and they'd completely ignore it. So basically, they're making you, pay for a really expensive pair of shoes, but then you have to wear the box instead of the shoes. And everybody got the same thing. Some of these yards called for like 10 bags of lime for the 10 50-pound bags of lime for the yard. They'd give the guy 3 bags and tell him to put it in that Lesco spreader and just sprinkle some lime on the yard. Not even close to what it actually needed for the pH, but everybody got the same thing. So it was fraudulent sales from the get-go. And I told him it was a mistake, and no one ever listens to the branch manager when you tell them that kind of thing.
Oh gosh, though. One of the drawbacks about being a branch manager from the service side that came up from the service ranks is you don't get listened to very often when it comes to the sales.
No. So
it's just a cross we bear.
It is. And there's on one of those pages about a Donnie and Marie company, I had made a comment about the cookie cutter service that this one company that I knew personally and had the misfortune of working for a very short period of time, which wasn't short enough. Right. It's the same service every time, no matter what your problem is. And my office manager from the first Donnie and Marie I worked for, Shelly, love you, Shelly, and I hope you're listening. She popped in and made a comment. She goes, I can remember so many times that you'd actually bring the salesmen and the technicians in and try to educate them about pest control before they went out for the day.
Right.
It's shoveling shit against the tide with some people. It really is.
It is. That's true. And it's one thing to to sell the service. It's another thing to service it. I've worked with salesmen that wouldn't touch a service if it smelled like money, but they would, but I've got other ones that will grab a sprayer, grab some stuff, get out and help get things done. I think empathy is important in this, Jack. You getting out, having a salesman get out and actually do some services every once in a while, not all the time. They got their jobs to sell. But kind of get a feel of what you're selling. And I think that goes a long way. And attention to detail. The signature is not the most important thing on, say, like a termite contract, or that diagram is life and death to a termite sale. Take for instance, I had one instance where I had a guy go out, sold a termite job, It was a liquid job, and did a diagram. Didn't pay a whole lot of attention to what he was doing other than walking around the outside. He gets to the porch. He puts in DFP, which means dirt-filled porch.
Mm-hmm.
This was anything but a dirt-filled porch, Jack.
They usually very rarely are.
Right. The technician who actually should have done a better walkthrough when he was doing the job. So this is not entirely the salesman's fault, but proceeds to drill the porch, gets the holes in, starts applying, and is shooting product right into the basement. So now we have termiticide soaked toys and games and carpet and just general basement. I was out in the field doing some stuff. I was a service manager at the time when I got the call. You need to check this out, Brad. I was like, all right, I'm on my way. I get down, slosh, slosh, slosh. It was hideous. So, and I called the branch manager up. I said, we got a problem here. He goes, well, what do we need to do? I said, well, first off, we need to call our affiliates who does, disaster remedies and get that taken care of. Secondly, I said, we need to get some money into these people's hands right away. Well, we can't do that. I said, well, I have a company card. I said, I bet I could beat you to Walmart and get gift cards to cover the stuff, the toys and the games that we ruined. I said, those kids are going to be so upset. And I said, I can do that probably quicker than you can get on and freeze my card. And he goes, fine, go do it. God damn it. So I went out and sure enough, I picked up, $400 worth of gift cards, got right back to the house, explained what we were, explained the plan of action. We're going to take care of it. Here's $400, get them kids some toys and games to replace what we fucked up. I didn't say fucked up, but and they were actually extremely cool with that. They were really appreciative of the gesture. But bottom line is you got to pay attention to what you're doing, especially when we're dealing with termiticide.
Well, I got to tell you, I started in this business doing termite work, and I always tell you, when you're drilling and you break through the concrete, if your drill just fucking drops once you break through the concrete, you need to really reassess just go take a look.
Fucking A. Even dirt, even sand and stuff, you're going to meet with some resistance once you break through that slab.
Yes.
The possible exceptions are if you're drilling like an 80, 90-year-old home, the dirt will settle out quite a bit. And, you may bottom out fast there. This house was less than 20 years old. And yeah, you should meet some resistance there. Again, Jack, this isn't, entirely the fault of the salesman. But the technician did take it on good faith that the salesman knew what the hell they were doing, and it said dirt-filled porch on it. So that's basically what happened. It was a perfect storm of fuck up. So
well, if your drill drops like that down to the hill, do yourself a favor, grab your ground rod, grab your soil rod, and stick it down the hole and see if you hit anything. Because that soil rod's at least 4 foot long. You're gonna hit something if there's something down there.
Yeah. Jack, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
At any time during your career as a branch manager, has a salesman come up to you, handed you a service agreement that he closed on, you looked at the number that was on it and just were in complete disbelief at the smallness of that number, and you look up at the salesman, you're about ready to tell him what the fuck, and the salesman goes, well, this guy told me he has 9 other properties.
Huh. Yeah, I've had that happen with really ridiculously low. Well, she was an old lady, and I still figured we could do a bi-monthly for $35. Ridiculous amount, a really low amount. And I'm like, what are we doing? Going to show up and hand her a couple glue boards and leave? Because, But then on the opposite end of that, I've seen them completely jackhammer someone in the doo-doo hole on the price as well, like charging quarterly prices for bi-monthly service.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, like, 95 to 105 for a bi-monthly. And, you got to figure this is a while ago, so I know prices have changed, but still, they were taking them to task on the price. And it's insane.
Right. we have a term for that, and where the salesman is told that this guy has X amount more properties and he's going to give them to us. Several months go by and it never happens, and the customer is refuses to pay. He's canceled the credit card that he gave us to put on file, and is just a general pain in the ass. We call that getting patelled.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, getting patelled means he's gonna try to talk you way the hell down on your price, and when you stand tall on it, he throws out this. Well, I have eight other properties, and I'd like to give them to you, but I want to see how you'll do here first. And then the salesman is like, okay, we'll do this. And, so then then they sign the agreement, and we're screwed. And then it turns out, we never get the properties that he's talking about. And they always have issues. They want their service done in like a 15-minute time window, only one particular day a week. And none of this stuff is hashed out at the point of sale. Yes, that's called getting patelled.
I keep seeing no-tell motels when you say that, because every time I've seen something like that, it's been one of those little no-tell motel type places.
Unfortunately, one of the thing is, Jack, it's not the little feety, jizz smelling rooms, smegma feet and type of hotels anymore. Some of these places are pretty damn nice.
And they're still working on the price.
It's like the backdrop of porn from the 1970s to today. It's just totally different. It used to go down in a nasty hotel room, and now it goes down in a multi-million-dollar mansion somewhere in Laurel Canyon. But
oh God,
yeah, so I'm told.
That's ex-hamster. Well, speaking of termite stuff, I was working for the Big Green Tea. I was a service manager, and they hired on this new sales manager who came from Verizon and had exactly zero pest control experience whatsoever. But for some reason, they thought he'd be a great pest control sales manager, because they figured sales is sales. Well, I have a technician that came back to me one day after running a route and said, hey, I went out and did this start, and these people were freaking out, thinking they're going to have termites, have their house treated for termites. I said, well, why? Did you see termite activity? He goes, no, I didn't see anything. It's a slab-on-grade house, no basement, no crawl space, no termites, nothing. I said, well, where the hell did they get this idea from? He goes, the new sales manager went out and sold it and told them, because they brought their firewood in the house, that termites are going to come in on their firewood and infest their house from the inside. And as soon as he told me that, I jumped up from my desk and I marched across the damn office all the way to the far corner where his office was. And he was on the phone with his girlfriend or something. I walked in and I slammed the door, and he looked up at me. His eyes were wide. I'm like, what? I'm assuming it was his girlfriend, because he said, love you. Because I was like, what the fuck is your problem?
Oh, damn.
What are you talking about? I'm like, why in the fuck would you say something like that? He goes, what are you talking about? I told him. He goes, well, they're termites and they're in wood, and if you bring them in, they're going to eat the wood. I was like, no. So I had to spend the next 2 weeks riding with him to give him the ins and outs of pest control, and he still washed out in about 3 months. He couldn't hang. He really couldn't hang. It's just ridiculous asshole.
Yeah. Anybody that's spent a day in their life in this business knows that an eastern subterranean termite is not going to do that.
No.
I mean, what's going to okay, yes, you can bring termites into a house in firewood, but the termites are not going to eat the house down. The termites are going to fucking die, because they're going to dry out. They don't have connection to their colony anymore. They can't make it back there. They're gonna, they need constant moisture, and they're not gonna fucking make it. They're just gonna sit there and they're gonna die. So,
yeah. And I tell you, I think this is one I know is going to resonate with you. Is the lies that salespeople tell about rodenticides.
Oh, yes, that one has been a boil on my taint for years. It's like, for crying out loud.
That just made my gooch hurt.
Yeah. Oh, are these going to die in my house? Oh, no, ma'am. They're not going to die in your house. This rodenticide causes them to get thirsty and seek water. And then the first place they're going to look for water is outside. So they're going to die outside, and they're going to go to mouse heaven and join the circus with Mr. Jingles. And fuck all that. It's like, guess what? Sometimes they're going to die in your house. And very seldom are you going to know about it, because basically it's an anticoagulant. They're going to die of chemically induced hemophilia. That's it.
Yes.
But their bodies are so small that if you smell anything, it's going to be faint, and you're only going to smell it for a couple of days. Now, the exceptions are if they die in a damp area, a damp basement. But believe you me, you will find them when that happens. All you got to do is follow your nose.
Oh yeah, no. The way I explained it to people, because living around Baltimore, rats were much more prevalent than mice were.
Right.
And I'd say, look, mice are small. They don't have that much body fat, so when they die, they desiccate rather quickly if it's a dry area. So if you do smell them, it'll be for a very brief period of time, and that's going to be it.
Rats are the exception.
Yes,
rats are going to fuck your house up with the stink.
Oh my God! When they start rotting, it just gets funky.
Yes. Only a drooling moron would bait inside for rats. Because rats they're big. Let's face it, they're pretty good sized animals when you think about it. And
Baltimore even more so.
Now, there has been a couple times where even baiting outside for rats has bitten us on the ass, where a rat would eat the bait, and by the time it succumbed to the effects of the bait, it had made its way inside and died in a wall. And
I had that happen at the place that makes the deck planks out of recycled 2-liter bottles and plastic, like polypropylene deck planking. And that place I was telling you about, full of all kinds of nasty plastic bags full of food and stuff, baited around that, a whole bunch of baiters around the outside and everything, and they'd end up coming back in for food before the bait really started to take hold, and they'd end up dying in there, and that place just stunk to high hell. Ugh.
Oh gosh.
Nasty shit, man.
Talking about plastic recycling place. We had a big fire out here in Richmond, Indiana. We had a plastic recycling plant catch fire. That son of a bitch burnt for 4 days. And I was out visiting Richmond to do a service out there. And I just kind of looked up and just saw the plume of smoke. It was a couple miles away from my location. And I was talking to one of the guys out there in the parking lot, and he goes, how about that? I said, yep, the Richmond volcano gods are angry today. And he goes, yeah, they're going to be angry for some time. I said, how come? He goes, well, this is Richmond. We don't have any virgins to sacrifice.
Oh, shit. that speaks volumes about that town.
Indeed it does.
Well, I got to tell you, when it comes to rats, man, working between D.C. and Baltimore, I've seen rats like you wouldn't fucking believe. Massive fucking rats. Yeah. I'm sure Indy has some pretty big damn rats too.
We got some good roasting size ones. Yeah.
I mean, the Chinese food restaurants have an endless supply of teriyaki chicken.
Oh, I'm not going to go there.
Yummy.
Yes. Yeah, you put enough soy sauce on anything, it's going to be all right. Oh, wait, no, you don't like soy sauce. You're averse to it now.
I'm going to pass on that. Thanks.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
no bueno.
If anybody wants to know what we would talk about, go to Tales from the TFTC.WTF and go to the archived episodes. Jack has a really interesting story about soy sauce.
Yes, and a Chinese restaurant and the big vats of it they had downstairs because they brewed their own and. Nice. I just kind of got the shivers. I won't need a midnight snack tonight because the nausea.
Yeah,
disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, man. I'm still going to be drowning my shit in soy sauce. So. Yeah. Soy sauce, fish sauce, oyster sauce, you name it. I'm down.
Hoisin sauce.
I'm a hoisin. Yes, love me some good hoisin sauce.
I dump that shit in my pho all the time, man. Fucking love that stuff.
Yeah. I love me some pho.
Fuck
Gosh.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You ever notice that those pho restaurants have these really ingenious names like Pho King or
Yeah, I just drove past one the other day. It was called What the Fuck.
yeah, right. Yeah, there's this little play on words. They know what the fuck they're doing.
They know what the fuck they're doing. That's right. Yeah, and how it got past the Marion County Zoning Committee, I have no idea. But it did. It's clever. I like it. I'm gonna have to stop in there one time and try their pho. Because a good bowl of pho is a beautiful thing. I don't care what you think. The tripe, the tendon, it's all delicious.
Well, sometimes you just need to go out and get fucked.
Exactly. So one more thing about salesmen. A true salesman from hell is the individual that has no idea what the difference is between an ant alate and a termite alate.
Yep.
Yes. So basically, what I say to people is, an ant alate is Ellie Mae Clampett, and a termite alate is Miss Jane Hathaway. So,
yes, that's perfect. That's fucking perfect.
Yes, the ant has the pinched waist, the hourglass shape, the sultry appearance, and can be often found around cement ponds. The termite alate is slender, has no shape, and hangs around buildings. So.
Yeah. I always try to do it with the wings, but some people don't fucking get that.
Right.
Yours is perfect. Yours is absolutely perfect explanation.
I guess I could go into the technical abyss and talk about, the dark line in the wings of a termite alate and everything. But, you got to keep it, you got to make it fun. So, it's like, the ant is Ellie Mae and the termite is Miss Jane Hathaway.
But for the millennials out there who have no idea who the fuck he's talking about, the ant is Katy Perry and the termite is Rosie O'Donnell.
No, the termites are not that big.
Well, yeah, you kind of got me there.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
Dylan Mulvaney?
Sure. Dylan Mulvaney? Oh my God. Yes. Termites have a dick. Termites have a dick and like Bud Light. Oh, Jesus, Jack. Yeah. Okay.
Well, look. Thanks everybody for listening this evening. Don't forget we're at TFTC Podcast on Instagram, TFTC 2.0 on TikTok. You can always find us at the illustrious Pest Control Humor Depot, and
my favorite group.
Like Brad mentioned, we're at TFTC.WTF, which stands for What the fuck?
So next week's episode, we have no fucking idea yet. So we're just going to let it be a surprise. Jack and I will get together and think of something for sure.
Hell yeah. And I'm kind of looking forward to doing another Ask Us Anything sometime soon.
Ask Us Anything would be great. And, we're also going to be, we're considering having an evening with somebody else as well. So special guest may be coming.
Hell yeah. I think I know who you're talking about, and I think that would be fucking amazing.
It's going to be a complete shit show, man. I'm going to love it.
Well, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and bug the hell off.
Bug off.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Crawlspace podcast. You can find us on just about every single podcast outlet there is online. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll have a new episode next week. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram at TFTC Podcast, on Twitter at Crawlspace Tales, and you can also find us on Facebook at the Pest Control Humor Depot. See you next week.